You know, I haven't been here so long. Until I see that when I was here last, if we had had the little place that we moved out of, we couldn't get you in there, could you? But anyway, I'd just like to say good afternoon to the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, spiritually and physical, here in Dallas.
Good afternoon, Brother Buie.
You know, back in Riverdale, I finally got to the point I said Riverdale. I've gotten past Chicago, you know, because we had to move out of Chicago because they couldn't give us the property that we needed because the Israel of God had blown up so big there. But back there in Riverdale, I'm used to speaking to a whole lot of people. And I found out that we have people online that are calling in from places that I didn't even know was on the planet.
Well,
Because the Lord have truly made the Israel of God a worldwide ministry. And I am not padding the books when I say that. Because we have people from everywhere, and when things go on, I get a call, like I got a call from Switzerland. Sister in Switzerland told me what the French president said concerning America. She told the EU that we have got to come together and put our army together because of the Russian and the American army. All of a sudden, the Western Europeans are not so sure if they are their allies or not. You know what I'm saying? But sisters and brothers, this is what this thing is all about. Is because people are going to church, like tomorrow be full of churches, shouting and praising God, but nobody know anything. And we have a bunch of our young Hebrew brothers out in the streets spreading vitriol and hatred. And they just as uninformed also. Because the things about to come upon this world, sisters and brothers. And I mean, it's coming so quick until if you blink, you'll be in the middle of it. And we would call it World War III. But the Bible would call it Armageddon.
that's right.
You know, you heard rumor of Armageddon. But nobody really believe it because they cannot believe that the Lord is going to come and fight against this man. It's going to be a real brief fight. You know, it's going to last about that long. But still it's going to be. So the Lord put it in my mind years ago to put together a lesson on Armageddon, because we need to know the destruction that Jesus, that everybody think is so sweet, we need to know the destruction that he's going to bring on this earth, sisters and brothers.
Right.
And this thing is it's going to be so terrible until if somebody told you about it, you wouldn't believe it. And that's the problem now. Nobody really believes the Word of God. That's why you have everybody running off and coming up with their own doctrine and getting off into themselves. But when you get some understanding, you don't have time for yourself. I don't know how many of you heard me say it, but I said a lot that I don't have no dog in this fight. That means it's not personal with me. It's all about what thus said the Lord. Now the Lord chose us, Israel as a people, to be priests to all of the rest of the sons of Adam. That's why I said, you shall be a nation of priests to me. And that means that we are supposed to teach everybody on this planet, every man, woman, and child, the Word of God. Because the Lord said he's going to send his messenger before his face, before the great and terrible day of the Lord, so he will turn the hearts of the children back to the Father. And sisters and brothers, the hearts are way away from the Father. People ain't thinking godly anymore. And nobody's dealing with the Word of God anymore. Because people don't understand that we are the children of Adam and Eve. Everybody in here come out of one of Noah's sons.
Amen.
Therefore, the blood connects us. The Lord chose us, Israel, to bring all his children back to him. And some of our young Israelites have been misguided. And the reason I say misguided, because you blame other people for things that has happened to us. You to blame. But as I remember in the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy, God said all this stuff was going to happen to you. That's before we got to the promised land the first time. He told you about being sold as slaves. He told you about coming into captivity by ships. He told you about being oppression, working and other people taking your labor. Your sons and daughters are in jail. He told you about all of that. So if God says it's going to happen to you, somebody have to do it. And one of the biggest things that we don't understand, that what's happened to us as a people have nothing to do with color. It has something to do with the curse that our forefathers brought on us. Because we were supposed to teach all of the sons of Adam what thus said the Lord. And if you didn't come out of Adam, you don't exist. It's all that simple, sisters and brothers. Now we're going to deal with this Armageddon because this is something that the Lord is going to bring on the whole world. He's not mad with one people or two people. He's mad with all people. Because all have transgressed his word. And when he comes, sisters and brothers, it's going to be a terrible thing. We're going to start this in Jeremiah the 25th chapter. Because anybody that know about the Israel of God know that we read everything. I'm not going to ever ask you to believe me. Why should you believe me and you've been lied to all of your life? You believe what we read. This is where we are. We're going to read this word of God, sisters and brothers, because the Lord put this here so we would be warned of what is coming. And that's what this is all about. This is a warning, sisters and brothers, because it's going to surely come to pass. And I know because I have proven this thing. I've been in this a long time. I've been in this word for 47 years, sisters and brothers. That's older than most of the people in this room. And one thing I've learned out of all of the years, that if the Lord speak it, his prophets wrote it, and his apostles wrote it, it is going to come to pass. Now we're going to start this in Jeremiah the 25th chapter and verse 1. Okay, read it.
The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah. That was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon.
Go ahead.
The which Jeremiah the prophet spake unto all the people of Judah and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, From the 13th year of Josiah the king of Ammon, king of Judah, even unto this day, that is the 23rd year, the word of the Lord hath come unto me, and I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking, but ye have not hearkened.
He said, for all these years I have sent my prophets to you, speaking these things to you, rising early in the morning, but you have not listened. And that is the problem, sisters and brothers. When you don't listen to God, you can expect some consequences. Go ahead and read.
Verse 4. And the Lord has sent unto you all his servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them.
Go ahead.
But ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear.
So you wouldn't listen to any of his prophets, so then he going to bring something else to you. Skip down to verse 8. Verse 8 and go ahead.
Therefore thus saith the Lord, first, because ye have not heard my word.
Go ahead.
Behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon, my servant.
This is what people don't understand. Well, did Nebuchadnezzar fear God? No. He's his servant because he's going to do what God tell him to do. I remember years ago, I got into a big brouhaha in Washington Park in Chicago because I told them that Satan was working for God. The devil can't be working for God. I said, if he wasn't working for God, then we will all be dead. He go when he's told to go. He go come when he told to come, and he stop when he told him to stop. He couldn't kill Job, could he? So Nebuchadnezzar also, he said, I'm going to bring Nebuchadnezzar, my servant. Go ahead and read.
Middle of 9. And will bring them against this land, and against the inhabitants thereof,
Go ahead.
and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, and an hissing, and a perpetual desolations. Moreover, I will
He said, I'm going to bring them against this land. I'm going to make them astonishment and a hissing and a perpetual desolation. He's talking about Judah and all the people around Jerusalem, sisters and brothers. All these people he's going to bring Nebuchadnezzar against. Skip down to verse 11 and go ahead.
And this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment. And these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years.
And sisters and brothers, this 70 years was turned into 70 weeks of years. But he said, these nations shall serve the king of Babylon. And we're doing it now. And even his children, sisters and brothers. Who are the king of Babylon? The Babylonians are Gentiles. The early Babylonians was Hamites. But the Assyrians knocked off the old Babylon and brought in the Chaldeans, which were Gentiles, and which the world know as white folks. And they've been in charge from that day to this one. He said, you're going to do it for these 70 years. But then Daniel's turned it into 70 weeks. That means we still have some time to go, but not much. Go ahead and read. Verse 12.
Verse 12. And it shall come to pass, when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Lord, for their iniquity, and the land of the Chaldeans, and will make it perpetual desolations.
Now, that let me know this is not Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. This is Babylon the Great, which we know now as the European Union. Because Babylon the Great, Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon was not taken off by any nation. His son Belshazzar threw a great big party and went and got the holy vessels out of the house of God, and him and his concubines and all of his drinking out of them, and the Lord sent a finger and wrote over the plaster and said, look, you have been found wanting. You have been weighed in the balance. You have been found wanting. Behold, your kingdom is given to the Medes and the Persians. And he had him killed that night. And Darius the Mede, which was a Russian, sisters and brothers, took over the kingdom. No fight. Smooth transition. So that let me know that this is talking about the Babylon, which is the calm, which we're looking at right now in the world, don't even know it. It's the resurrection of the old Babylonian empire or either the old Roman empire, because both of them rule the whole world without any challenges. But nobody know that because nobody reads. Skip down to verse 14. Verse 14. Go ahead.
For many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of them also.
Many nations and great kings. What are these great kings? We're going to show you, sisters and brothers, these nations. Those are the kings of east of the Euphrates River. That's going to be led by Russia, which the Bible called Gog and Magog. But nobody pays attention. That's why Russia all of a sudden seems to be the big giant in the valley now, don't it? Because the Lord is preparing everybody to take care of the business that he has prepared them for. Go ahead and read.
And I will recompense them according to their deeds, and according to the works of their own hands.
Go ahead.
For thus saith the Lord God of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand.
Go ahead.
And cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it.
He says, so now, this fury that I'm going to bring up on this wall, I want you to take this wine cup of my fury and take it to all the nations to drink. That means nobody's going to escape what the Lord is going to do, sisters and brothers. Go ahead and read.
And they shall drink and be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among them.
Go ahead.
Then took I the cup at the Lord's hand and made all the nations to drink unto whom the Lord had sent me.
He said, now, I took it and made all of them. Otherwise, the prophet said, look, he is taking this and telling everybody that you are going to drink of this cup of God's fury. Ain't nobody going to get away. Why? Skip down to verse 26. Verse 26 and go ahead.
And all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world which are upon the face of the earth. And the king of Shishak shall drink after
Go
them.
ahead.
Therefore thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall and rise no more, because of the sword which I will send among you.
He said, I want you to tell them all to drink of this cup. And you're going to spew and you're going to fall and you're not going to rise anymore. Because when the Lord take this earth down, sisters and brothers, there ain't going to be no more rulers but him. He says, so I want you to drink. Tell them to drink of it. Go ahead and read.
And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thine hand to drink, then shalt thou say unto them,
Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, ye shall certainly drink.
You shall certainly drink. Why? Go ahead and read.
For lo, I began to bring evil on the city which is called by my name, and should be utterly unpunished. And should ye be utterly unpunished? Ye shall not be unpunished. For I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, saith the Lord of hosts.
Now he said, because if somebody, you take this cup, and somebody says, I don't want to drink of it. No, you're going to drink of it. Because I begin to bring evil on the city that's called by my name. What's that? That's Jerusalem, sister and brother, in Israel. So you think that you're going to escape if I'm going to do what I'm going to do to my people? You know you got something coming. And he said, nobody's going to escape, because what it says here, take it to all the inhabitants of the earth. All is absolute, ain't it? I mean, everybody going to drink of this cup, and I'm going to do it to everybody at one time. See, people don't understand. The Lord always starts the curses at his own house. And then he go get everybody else. And let you know, if I would not spare my own children, you don't have a chance. It's all that simple. Verse what? 33?
30.
30, go ahead and read.
Therefore prophesy thou against them all these words, and say unto them, the Lord shall roar from on high.
Go ahead.
And utter his voice from his holy habitation.
Amen. He going to roar from heaven, and he going to utter his voice from heaven. Go ahead and read.
He shall mightily roar upon his habitation.
He
shall give a shout.
Go ahead.
As they that tread the grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth.
It's just like, like when you don't know about it, but when they, in the old time, when they made wine, they had people get in there and tread it with naked feet. And they tread the grapes and all the juice come out. Then that's what they made wine of. But this juice here is not wine, grape juice. This is blood that he's talking about. He said, I want you to tread this like you would a grape tread. And go ahead and read.
31. A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth. For the Lord hath a controversy with the nation.
Go ahead.
He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, saith the Lord.
He keep letting you know that nobody's going to escape this. He have a controversy with the nations. What nation? All of them. Nobody is clean in the eyes of the Lord. So he is upset. Go ahead and read.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts. Behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth.
So evil going to go forth from nation to nation. The world ain't ready for this, sisters and brothers. Look what he's saying here. Go ahead and read.
And the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth.
The Lord's going to kill people from coast to coast, sisters and brothers. There ain't going to be an area of this earth that the Lord ain't going to kill. That's why it says the slain of the Lord going to be from one end of the earth even to the other. Go ahead and read.
They shall not be lamented, neither gathered, nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground.
There's going to be so many sisters and brothers until the Lord going to have birds of prey and animals that come in and eat the bodies. This man don't know what's coming on this earth, sisters and brothers. He don't have a clue. And he don't even know what sign that the Lord going to give when this begins. The Lord tell you what's going to happen, then he tell you what sign to look for. Like a brother asked me, brother, how many years you think that we have? I said, I don't go by years. Jesus gave us signs. So we're going to look at the signs. Now look at a sign he gave when this is all going to get started. Let's go into Matthew, the 24th chapter. Matthew chapter 24. Because this lesson, sisters and brothers, is a lesson to open your eyes and let you understand we have no time for playing. Like we had a lot of people that's running around, well, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go over there and I'm going to see it. We had a good time. Look, you better learn what God is doing. Or you're going to get caught in the middle and you're going to have a problem. This is serious business, sisters and brothers. The Lord is talking about really killing some people. Matthew 24, and we're going to start at verse 1, 24 and 1. Because when they come by the temple, the apostle was admiring the temple, and look what Jesus said. Go ahead and read. Matthew 24 and verse 1. 24 and verse 1. Okay, read it.
And Jesus went out and departed from the temple. And his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
Go ahead.
And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Now Jesus told them, you know, however good looking this temple is, there's not going to be one stone left upon another that's not going to be torn down. And that prophecy was fulfilled in 70 AD by the Roman general Titus. When Titus went in 70 AD and took Jerusalem down and Judea, he tore down the temple and everything else. He didn't leave one stone upon another. That happened in 70 AD. That's why you have to do some history when you're dealing with the Word of God. History books, sisters and brothers, not this apocrypha. History books. Okay, what verse?
Verse 3.
Go ahead and read.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming?
Go ahead.
And of the end of the world?
Now they want to know, when is this temple going to be torn down? What is the sign of your coming and of the end of the world? That's as we know it, sisters and brothers. But Jesus said something very interesting here, and nobody paid attention to it. Read it. Let's see what it is. Go ahead and read.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you.
Take heed that no man deceive you. Go ahead.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
For many shall come in my name, saying that I am Christ, and they're going to deceive many. He didn't warn you about the Hare Krishna or even Islam or Buddha. He warned you by the biggest threat. Everybody around, Jesus is the Christ. Come to the Lord. He loved everybody. You even have a Hebrew Israelite group out here call themselves Israel United for Christ, but they don't believe in the baptism. If you're going to get into Christ, you got to be baptized. Come in my name saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. You get the Sunday Christians, now we got some Hebrew brothers doing the same thing. If you knew united for Christ, then it was Christ that got baptized in the water. It was so important to him that he got baptized. John the Baptist said, you should be doing this to me. He said, suffer, look, you go ahead and do it. Suffer to be so that all righteousness might be fulfilled. Y'all understand, sisters and brothers? So now, he said, take heed that no man deceive you, and nobody has paid attention. Look at all these Sunday preachers, all of them coming to you in the name of Christ. And you can't read nothing that they say in the Bible. That's why I said when get people going to come, well, you know, I'm a Christian. I said, you a Christian? Yeah. I said, read it to me. Read what you say. Read to me one time what Jesus said for God in it from Genesis to Revelation, for God said he going to take you to heaven. It's not in the book. Further you're going to do is meet him in the air and everybody comes by. So you see what Jesus did? He gave a big warning here and nobody paid attention. Skip down to verse 11. Verse 11 and go ahead.
And many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound.
And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. Skip down to verse 14 and go ahead.
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come.
Now, this is what I'm trying to fulfill. This gospel shall be preached in all kingdom as a witness. That's a witness against them, sisters and brothers. Then shall the end come. I'm going to tell you something. The Israeli God is way over there. We have people listening in Eastern and Western Europe. We have people listening in Central and South America. We have people listening from all over. And I'm trying to get it to the end of the earth. You know why? Because I'm tired. Because this world is getting wickeder and wickeder. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm trying to fulfill this. Go ahead and read.
15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet,
Go ahead.
stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand.
Now, when you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, whoso read it, let him understand. Most people don't even know what abomination is. They don't know who he is, and they don't even know what a holy place is. I'm going to tell you. The holy place is going to be the temple that the Edomites that call themselves Jews going to be built. And the abomination that's going to move in it is going to be the Pope. And nobody going to believe that because they think this is the holiest person on the planet. He says, spoken of by Daniel the prophet. But so he got a lot of people hemmed up in the New Testament saying, well, I'm a New Testament Christian. I don't want to read that Old Testament. Then you can't even do what Jesus said, didn't he? Didn't he say, spoken of by Daniel the prophet? If you're a New Testament Christian, and you'll never read Daniel's, will you? I'm just sometimes learning something on your way to learning something. Why should you understand this? Skip down to verse 21. Verse 21 and go ahead.
For then shall be great tribulation.
For then shall be great tribulation.
Such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall be.
Look, it's going to be tribulation so bad. And there have never been a time this bad since man been in existence. And it's so bad, he said, there shall never be another time this bad. That ought to be bad, don't you? Whole lot of ugly stuff on you, ethnic cleansing, all, you name it. Whole lot of murders taking place, sisters and brothers. He said, look, this is going to be badder than that. It's so bad it can't happen but once. And I got to cut that off. Why? Go ahead and read.
And except those days shall be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened.
He said, but except those days be shortened. In other words, the Lord said, if I don't intervene, there ain't going to be no flesh saved. When the Lord made this prophecy, there was not a weapon big enough to kill all flesh. But now everybody have it, don't they? Russia got it. America got it. Israel got it. Europe got it. Everybody got it. That's why Iran is mad. That's because you don't want me to have it. Everybody else got it. That's thermonuclear weapons. Everybody got it. This man had a capability right now to destroy everything that lived. And if the Lord didn't intervene, he would. Well, we're going to come to reason. What reason? Man have used everything that he invented. Didn't he use the atom bomb? What he have now make the atom bomb look like a firecracker. Think about it, sisters and brothers. So he said, except those days be shortened, wouldn't be no flesh laid, but for the flesh saved, but for the elect's sake. I'm going to shorten them days. Skip down to verse 29. Verse 29. And let's see what's happening. Go ahead and read.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened.
Go ahead.
And the moon shall not give her light. And the stars shall fall from heaven. And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
So immediately after those things, that's when the Lord is getting ready to come, sisters and brothers. The moon going to be darkened. The sun is going to be darkened. The moon going to turn red. And the stars going to fall, sisters and brothers, immediately after the tribulation of those days. We have some ministers that have discovered the tribulation. You know what they say? Well, the church going to be taken up before those days. But wait a minute, then you turn around and say, when Christ comes, we're going to meet him in the air, right? Let's see what time Christ is going to come. Keep reading.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. They shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
That's immediately after those days, ain't it? So now if you are waiting for the Lord to rapture you off before those days, and you ain't going until he comes, then you're going to find yourself smack dab in the middle of blood and carnage, and you ain't going to know what to do. Because you was not informed. Your watchman didn't warn you. Because when that happens, sisters and brothers, a whole lot of things going to happen because the Lord going to let a lot of people be killed during the Great Tribulation. but they ain't going to kill the beast and the false prophet. It's not going to kill as many people as the Lord going to kill. But look at this same time where the sun and the moon going to be darkened. Let's go into Isaiah, the 34th chapter. Isaiah chapter 34. Because you need to understand the magnitude of this killing that's going to take place by the hand of the Lord. And he said, there's a time, this time going to be so bad until there have not been a time before it. And there shall not be any time after that. Isaiah the 24th chapter. Isaiah 34th chapter, Isaiah chapter 34. Because you need to understand, sisters and brothers, the Lord is putting this warning here so we can prepare for it. And we can prepare for it, and we can even escape it. But you got to know how to escape it, and you got to be right. It's all that simple. It's not enough just to know the word. You got to do it too. James told you that. So if you don't practice it, you just like a man looking in the mirror. When he walk away from it, he forgets what he looked like. This you got to know. Isaiah 34 and verse 1. 34 and 1. This is the same time we just got through that Matthew's warned us about. Go ahead and read.
Come near, ye nations, to hear,
and
hearken, ye people.
Go ahead.
Let the earth hear, and all that is therein.
Go ahead.
The world and all the things that come forth of it.
He said, I want the whole world to hear this, because I got a message for you. Go ahead and read.
For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations.
For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. Go ahead and read.
And his fury upon all their armies.
How absolute is all, sisters and brothers? Nobody escapes this. Go ahead and read.
He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out.
Go ahead.
And their stink shall come up out of their carcasses. And the mountains shall be melted with their blood.
There's going to be so much killing. So the mountains are going to be melted with their blood. They're going to be so many of them, the carcass is going to be decomposing and stinking, sisters and brothers. Because he's going to kill so many. And ain't nobody going to be able to bury all these people. Go ahead and read.
And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved. And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
Go ahead.
And all their hosts shall fall down. As the leaf falleth off from the vine.
So during this time, it said the heavens going to roll together. Let's roll back like a scroll. Doesn't that happen? You're going to see the Lord then. So the stars going to fall. Those are the hosts of heaven, sisters and brothers. Go ahead and read.
And as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven.
Go ahead.
Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment.
Now, our Lord always have a little bitty for the Idumeans. Who are the Idumeans, sisters and brothers? Those are the people that call themselves the Jews. They are not Europeans, except for some converted ones. But most of them are the one that's called Jews. You get some people running around telling me, well, these are white folks. No, this guy here, this Idumean, is your twin brother. He took your name. He took your land. Trying to take your God. But that's between him and God. I didn't announce this on him. Who announces this?
For the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. And it is made fat with fatness. And with the blood of lambs and goats. With the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath had a sacrifice in Bozrah.
Bozrah is still Esau, one of Esau's sons, okay? You have a sacrifice in Bozrah. Go ahead and read.
And a great slaughter in the land of Idumea.
Go ahead.
And the unicorns shall come down with them. And the bullocks with the bulls. And their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness.
Why is that? Go ahead.
For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance.
It's the day of the Lord's vengeance.
And the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion.
And the year of repayment for all the controversy that's been called over Zion. You know, even like somebody else claiming it, and it don't belong to you. The Lord said he's going to do this, sisters and brothers. This is all a whole lot of killing. But then, that's going to be there. But remember, he said he's going to do it to the whole world, sister and brother. Saying the heaven's going to roll back like a scroll. How many times is that going to happen? One time. So that means that the time that Isaiah was talking about Matthew wrote about it. And John wrote about it too in Revelation. Let's go to Revelation, the 6th chapter. See, the Lord put this stuff all over to get your attention, let you know, hey, out of the mouth of 2 or more witnesses is a fact established. So I'm going to give you plenty of witnesses so you will understand that I'm going to come down and I'm going to do this earth some real hurt. The kind of hurt that you can't even imagine. Revelation, the 6th chapter, and we're going to start reading at verse 12. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 12. Because, sisters and brothers, these things are written and the Lord mean for us to read them. So you will know what's going to happen. And then you can find out how to prepare yourself to escape it. Because it's going to happen. When I wrote that book, The Four Winds of Heaven, when I saw how accurate God was and everything with his prophet, that scared me. And there's a faith, there's evidence of things, hope for. I got evidence. My book is my evidence. Everything that God said he's going to do by the prophets, I went in the history books and it came to pass. So these are the things, sisters and brothers, he's giving you this. This is going to happen. Revelation 6 and verse 12. Go ahead.
And I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood.
How many times this going to happen?
One time.
One time. Go ahead and read.
And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind.
Talking the same time. Go ahead.
And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. And every mountain and island were moved out of their places.
Now, how many times did the heaven going to roll back? One time, sisters and brothers. And when that heaven rolled back, then that's when the world going to know, hey, this thing is for real. Go ahead and read.
And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
Go ahead.
And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lord.
Now wait, of the Lamb. Wait a minute now. You didn't hear when you were in church that the Lamb had wrath, didn't you? You had the Lamb love everybody. He's your guiding light. He's your personal Savior. But right here, he's the one that's going to bring the wrath. So when they saw him, instead of them saying, Lord, please have mercy, I've been wrong, they started running behind. You understand? That's that wickedness. Won't even let them repent. Because the Lord, if you repent on the last day of your life, like the thief did, the Lord will save you. But you got to repent. They said, hide us from it. Go ahead and read.
17. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?
For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So what throne was he sitting on? He's sitting at the right hand of the Father, on the throne. When they rolled back, I don't know whether they saw the Father or not. I can't say that, but I know they saw him. The reason I know it because the book said it. So I don't get off in the points of debate. I get off in matters of fact. So he was sitting there on the right hand of the Father. But what time did he go and sit there? He might have said it before his resurrection, before he came as Jesus. But I know this time is talking about when he come back, he going to sit there. Let's go into Hebrews, the 10th chapter, and look at it. Because he's sitting right there and everybody looking at him. Now everybody is scared now because everybody realized that this thing is for real. Because for a minute there, the world think that it's winning. But the Lord going to reverse that real quick. Hebrews, the 10th chapter. And we're going to start reading at verse 1. Hebrews chapter 10. Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 1. Okay, read it.
For the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things,
Go ahead.
can never with those sacrifices which they have offered year by year continually make the comers thereunto perfect.
So this law here, this is the law of animal sacrifice, sisters and brothers. This is the law that was nailed to the cross. This is the law that Jesus terminated, not the commandment. People run around telling me, you ain't got to keep the commandment no more. You ain't under the law, you're under grace. No, you ain't under the law of animal sacrifice. You're under grace. But you still under that royal law. Because if you get rid of the royal law, the commandments, then you have gotten rid of sin. Because sin is the transgression of the law. People say, well, they don't have to keep no law. I said, well, ain't no sinners. Look at all them sinners. I said, there is no sinners. If you done got rid of the law, where you going to get the sinner from? Being that sin is the transgression of the law. How can you break something that don't exist? But this law is the law of animal sacrifice. And it can never make the comers thereof perfect. What's it mean perfect? You can never become God, sisters and brothers. People cringe when I say, I want to be God. Oh, brother, look, God want me to be God. If God want me to be God, I want what my God wants. Because only God is perfect. Why couldn't you become perfect? Skip down to verse 4. Verse 4 and read it.
For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and goats should take away sin.
That's why you couldn't become perfect, because the blood of bulls and goats could not take away sin. Blood of bulls and goats didn't sin against God. They do what they do. Go ahead and read.
Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he saith, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not.
Go ahead.
But a body hast thou prepared me.
So when he came into the world, he said, sacrifice and offering you wouldest not. You didn't want, so you prepared me a body. Why did Jesus need a body, sisters and brothers? Because Jesus was God. He was a spirit being. You cannot kill spirit beings. So in order for him to die, the Father had to prepare him a body. He took that body over. The angel came and injected into the woman Mary. And she went to full 9 months, and he was born into the family of man. That's how you got into the family of man. You got to be born into it. That's why when you get into the family of God, you got to be born into it. That's why the word born again come into play. People think born again is having a change of mind. No, it's not. You was a physical being when you came into the man's family, didn't you? And when you go into God's family, you're going to be a physical being. You have been born again. Why? Because you've been born once. These things we have to pay attention to. So let's see what he's going to do with this body. Skip down to verse 10. Verse 10 and go ahead.
By the which will we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once for all.
Oh, so that's why he needed a body. Something that could be offered that would take away sin. Animals, bulls, and goats couldn't. But man sinned, therefore man had to be sacrificed. Therefore Jesus had to become man, and he made it clear that he was man when he was here because he called himself the Son of Man, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And whatever your father is, that's what you are. This is what we got to understand. So we are sanctified by the offering of the body of Jesus once and for all. Go ahead and read.
Verse 11. And every priest standeth daily ministering and offering oftentimes the same sacrifices.
Go ahead.
Which can never take away sin.
So because animals can't do it. Go ahead and read.
But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of God.
So this man, that's Jesus. Once he made one sacrifice forever, he sat down on the right hand of God. Go ahead and read.
From henceforth expecting till his enemies be made his footstool.
From henceforth expecting his enemies to be made his footstool. Oh, you mean Christ got enemies? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Whole lot of them. So when he came and he died, was killed he's a sin offering. He killed for the sins of the people. He went back to heaven and he sat down at the right hand of the Father. He expected his enemies to become his footstool. Why did he expect that? Let's go and look at it. Let's go in the 110th chapter of Psalms. Psalms 110. Jesus came and he suffered what he had to suffer, but then he had something on his mind too. I'm going to make you suffer if you don't straighten your act up. Psalms 110. Let me show you why he was expecting it, sisters and brothers. Psalms chapter 110. And we're going to start at verse 1. Psalms 110 and verse 1. Because when Jesus come out that grave, he went right on back to heaven, and he sat down at the right hand of the Father. And as we just read in Hebrews, expecting his enemies to become his footstool. And this is why he expected it. Verse 1. Go ahead.
The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
That's why he expected it. Look, this was written before he came in the flesh. But the Lord told him, sit there at my right hand. That's after you gone and do what you have to do. Until I make thine enemy thy footstool. Go ahead and read.
The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion.
He's going to send the rod of thy sin out of Zion.
Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies.
Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. Look what else he's going to do. Skip down to verse 5. Skip down to verse 5 and read it.
The Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath.
Look, he's going to strike through kings in the day of his wrath. Go ahead and read.
He shall judge among the heathen.
He's going to judge among the nations.
He shall fill the places with dead bodies.
He's going to fill the places with dead bodies. Oh, not Jesus, Brother Buie. Yes, Jesus. Finish that.
He shall wound the heads over many countries.
He's going to wound the heads over many countries, sisters and brothers. So when Jesus get up off that throne, this world is in trouble. He's going to fill the places with dead bodies. You never heard that in church. I never heard. I was raised as a Baptist. In fact, I never knew that I had to keep the commandments. But look, sisters and brothers, before he started filling the places with dead bodies, after the Great Tribulation, his people will have gone through a whole lot of trouble. So he ain't going to do his people twice, so he's going to put a mark on his people before he started filling the places with dead bodies. Let's go into Revelation, the 7th chapter, and look at it. Revelation chapter 7. That's why the Lord have all this, sisters and brothers. That's why no matter what brother come here, or either Brother Troy, whoever teach here, they're going to teach you some Bible.
Amen.
We are not fooling around. You done heard too many people tell you what's on their mind. Now we're going to let you read what's on God's mind.
Amen.
See, brother tell you, well, you know, we God's people, we Hebrew Israelites. I said, that didn't help to keep us from getting kicked out of the land.
Right.
You understand? You go back and see how many people God killed in the wilderness. Don't you know the average person don't know that when God brought Israel out of Egypt, every person from 20 years and older didn't get into the promised land but Joshua and Caleb? I mean, everybody from 20 years. And look, it was, 600,000 footmen? Mm-hmm. Not including the women and children? All them from 20 years and older died in the wilderness. So much for being a Hebrew Israelite. God is not a respecter of person. Whoever sinned against him, that's the one going down. Good to be Israel if you keep the law. So now, Revelation 7 and 1, because God getting ready to bring this big, his wrath on this world, all what we have been reading about already. 7 and 1, go ahead and read.
And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth.
Go ahead.
Holding the 4 winds of the earth. That the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
Now these 4 winds, that's talking about the nations, sisters and brothers. That's why the book that the Lord called me to read, to write, I called it The 4 Winds of Heaven. Show you that the nation, that covered the whole earth. Hold back the nations until the Lord put a mark on his servants. Until he fixes so the angels don't let nothing happen to them. Go ahead and read.
Verse 2. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea.
Go ahead.
Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads.
He said, I don't want you to hurt nothing until we have sealed the servants of our God in their forehead. Go ahead and read.
And I heard the number of them which were sealed. And there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
See, now these are the people that was in the area, immediate area, sisters and brothers. Because all the people, you got a lot of people over the world, but all these people here in the area, these are 144,000 of the children of Israel, exclusively all Israelites. But then that's not the only one he sealed. Skip down to verse 9. Verse 9 and read it.
After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands.
So we see that Israel was not the only servant of God, wasn't it?
That's right.
You have a great number that no man could number out of every kindred, tongue, and nation. And don't let nobody tell you, see, that was talking about the Israelites that were scattered among them. He already told you about Israel. So now he's talking about somebody else. Don't let nobody tell you not to believe your lying eyes. You read this book.
Amen.
It's going to tell you, sisters and brothers, out of every kindred, tongue, and nation, sisters and brothers. Now once he sealed his servant, now he's getting ready to start bringing his wrath upon this earth. Let's go into Revelation, the 8th chapter. Revelation chapter 8, and we're going to start at verse 1. Revelation 8 and 1. Okay, read it.
And when he had opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets.
Now these trumpets, sisters and brothers, is going to announce the destruction that the Lord is going to bring on this earth. That's why the Lord used that. The trumpets are used to muster the troops to battle. The trumpets used to announce the coming of a king. So he gave these guys these trumpets. Skip down to verse 6 and go ahead.
And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound.
Go ahead.
The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. And they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of trees was burnt up. And all green grass was burnt up.
Now this was happening, because this is the area where this taking place. He said when he cast out, the third part of everything was burnt up. Grass and everything. Skip down to verse 12. Verse 12, because we're going to skip around because we can't read all of this. Go ahead and read.
And the 4th angel sounded. And the third part of the sun was smitten. And the third part of the moon.
Go ahead.
And the third part of the stars. So as the third part of them was darkened. And the day shone not for a third part of it. And the night likewise.
Now all the time Jesus was standing up there with the heaven rolled back. The book didn't tell you that it rolled closed back up. It was still there. He's sitting there, and he's bringing this drum on earth. So when he did that, stars were smitten. Sun smitten. Go ahead and read.
13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpets of the 3 angels which are yet to sound.
Now, you think that was bad? The angel said, woe, 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 because each one of them woes is just a little worse than the last woe. Because of the 3 angels that are left to sound. Now we're going to go directly into Revelation, the 19th chapter. And we're going to look at the 5th one. Revelation 9, Revelation, the 9th chapter. Revelation, the 9th chapter. And we're going to start reading at verse 1. We're going to look at the 5th one. Go ahead and read.
And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit.
Sisters and brothers, the star, this represents angels, sisters and brothers. We will show you another lesson. Because when Jesus stood there, we had 7 stars in his hand. Those are the 7 spirits that run to and fro in the earth. Those are angels. fell from heaven with the key to the bottomless pit. Go ahead and read.
And he opened the bottomless pit.
Uh-huh.
And there arose a smoke out of the pit.
Go ahead.
As the smoke of a great furnace.
Uh-huh.
And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit.
We're going to show you this pit star here is Satan. But Brother Buie, he wasn't in heaven. No, he's telling me he fell from heaven a long time ago, but still he failed, didn't he?
Right.
So now he going to tell him, marshal your troops. Mm-hmm. And who are these come out the bottomless pit? The EU, that the whole world don't even know what they're going to do. He going to mobilize them. What is the bottomless pit? That don't mean they're coming out some great big old hole that didn't have no bottom. That means that you looking but you don't see them. Nobody is paying attention. It's just like they're being hid in the bottomless pit. But they're here. We see them because we done read this book. But the whole world don't see it. That's why the sister from Switzerland called me last week when the French president said we got to prepare, get our big armies together for Russia and America. Why would this woman from Switzerland know? Because she is a member of the Israel of God. She know. So he went and the smoke came out of his bottomless pit. Go ahead and read.
Verse 3. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth.
Uh-huh.
And unto them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power.
Now John don't know what to call these weapons that he saw, these modern day weapons, sister and brother. They look like locusts to me. It looked like they had fire coming out of their mouth. What he's trying to do is match something, an animal. They didn't have no machinery or nothing like that. I think the most modern thing they might have had was a crossbow or a catapult.
Yeah.
And he see these helicopters. He see these tanks. He see these jets. This guy here, he had to be close to having a breakdown. But God held him up because this word had to be put forth, sister and brother. He saw the locusts coming up and looked like, and they had the power of scorpions. Go ahead and read.
And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing,
Go ahead.
neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their forehead.
That's why the Lord had to seal his servant. He said, now, I don't want you to hurt nothing but these people that don't have the seal of God in their forehead. Go ahead and read.
And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man.
Now, in this modern day warfare, how can you make somebody suffer like that, but you don't want to kill them? You either hit them with germ or chemical warfare. Western Europe, the European Economic Union, is not interested in destroying Russia and all the allies. They're interested in completing the resurrection of the whole Roman Empire. They even have some kind of catechism among the Catholics that pray for Russia. They don't want to kill them. They want to bring all of the European back under the same umbrella like it used to be, from Nebuchadnezzar down to the Roman Empire. So what you do, you punish them. And they punish them for 5 months. Go ahead and read. What verse?
Verse 6.
And
in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it.
Go ahead. They're going to seek death and shall not find it, sisters and brothers. That is some big suffering when you're going to want to die and you can't die. Because these weapons was designed not to kill. It was designed to punish and to bring you back under the umbrella of the European Union. But people don't understand this because they don't associate the word of God with the affairs of man. Man is God's business. From the day that he dug him out of the ground. So now, skip right on down to verse 11 and go ahead.
And they had a king over them.
And they had a king over them. Go ahead.
Which is the angel of the bottomless pit.
That's Satan the devil. Don't you know he's an angel? Go ahead and read.
Whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon. But in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon.
Abaddon and Apollyon both mean destroyer, sisters and brothers. That's what this angel's name. That's what he was the destroyer. That's why when the Lord told Israel, put that blood over your doorpost. When he see the blood, I'm going to pass over your house. He won't suffer to destroy you. Come in and kill your firstborn. Satan was busy then. Remember, God used Satan. He used to be the one that brought the truth. Because then he was named Lucifer. Lucifer means light bringer, a light bearer. Until the Lord found iniquity in him, he took his job away from him and gave it to Gabriel. He's the new light bearer now. So what about Lucifer? Now he's the head whooper. You do something wrong, he ain't going to send the holy angel to whoop you. He's going to tell Satan, go over there, slap him down, but don't kill him. He have to tell him, don't kill him. Because Satan is a destroyer. He will kill you. But he can't breach the power of God, and he can't go beyond God. So now, these guys, this guy over them is called a destroyer, and this is none other than Satan the devil. Go ahead and read.
One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter.
Remember, that's one woe. That's when the Western Europe come up and they actually assaulted Eastern Europe, sisters and brothers. And we're going to show this to you. Go ahead and read.
And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God.
Go ahead.
Saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates.
Now remember he told them the angels to hold back the four winds of heaven? Now he said loose them. What's it bound in the great river Euphrates? Why he used the great river Euphrates? Because the Euphrates River, sisters and brothers, do some the geography. Check your map. It divides East and Western Europe. Because that's where the power fight's going to be. America's going to be on somebody's side. I used to think it was on the west side, but I ain't sure about that no more. Especially since we got this smart president we have. He done turned all the enemies to allies and all the allies to enemies. So we don't know what side America's going to be on, but you're going to be on somebody's side because the Lord said all nations didn't. So now, when he loosed the four angels that are bound in the great river Euphrates, go ahead and read.
Verse 15. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men.
These guys' job was to slay the third part of men. Don't you know that's a whole lot of people? Think about how many people is on this planet. These guys was going to kill a third part of them. Go ahead and read.
And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000.
How many? Finish that.
And I heard the number of them.
How many is 200,000? That's 200 million soldiers. That's why it have to take the whole Eastern Bloc. Every nation that's east of the Euphrates River is going to be under the banner of Russia. Because in Ezekiel, the Lord told Russia to be a shield and a buckler to them. Every nation. That's why you got to have China, got to have Russia, got to have all them people to produce an army of 200 million soldiers. That's a lot of soldiers. There ain't never been an army that big since man been on this planet. On one side. We're not talking about the west. We're talking about just the east. 200 million soldiers. What verse?
That was the end of 16.
Go ahead and read.
And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone.
Now John was trying to define what he was looking at, didn't he? He was trying, though, but go ahead and read.
By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. Now,
these guys that's going to do it is a third part of men. And this is the army that's coming back at these people. You understand? Remember, the other one didn't want to do no killing. We just want to bring them under one umbrella. No, but these want to kill them all. And so they are going to kill them all, sisters and brothers. Now, let's look and see who's on the other side of that Euphrates River. Let's go into Revelation, the 16th chapter. Revelation chapter 16. And we're going to start at verse 12. Revelation 16 and verse 12. Because every time an angel blow, you have another angel with a vial of wrath to pour out on this earth. Therefore you had 7 angels with 7 trumpets, and you had 7 angels with 7 vials of wrath. So every time a trumpet blow, one of them other angels pour some wrath on this earth. That means that somebody is going to die. 16 and 12. Okay, read it.
And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up.
Go ahead.
That the way of the kings of the east might be prepared.
Now look, if all you got to do is get your map, and you find out who are the kings of the east on the other side of Euphrates, you can put your hand on everybody that's going to be Russia's ally. You know more than this man knows. You know more than the presidents and the dignitaries, because God done called it already. Now you can go home and get you a map of that area, Western Europe, and you could run down the Euphrates River, and every nation that's east of the Euphrates River are the kings of the east. That's why the Bible said in Jeremiah that a whole lot of nations going to serve themselves on Babylon, but that's Babylon the Great, not Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon, because the European Union is the resurrection not only of the Holy Roman Empire, but it's also the resurrection of the Babylonian Empire. Remember, Nebuchadnezzar was the first Gentile to rule everything. First man, period. So now, dry it up and make the way of the kings of the east. Go ahead and read.
13. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast,
Go ahead.
and out of the mouth of the false prophet.
Go ahead.
For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty.
See, this is God's battle. They don't know it. These unclean spirits come out of the mouth of the beast, the false prophet, and Satan. These are words. Can you imagine an unclean spirit inside of Satan, and he's an unclean spirit? Conversation. Like James told you in the book of James, he said, look, so this tongue is an unruly evil. See, it set forth the forces of nature. In other words, you got wars. People die because of this tongue. That's why the Lord said you have to watch what you say, because every word that proceeded out of your mouth, you're going to have to account for it before him. So they come out and they gather them, but these unclean spirits gather them to God's battle. Go ahead and read. He's the one that's bringing forth this battle of Armageddon. Go ahead and read.
Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth.
Go ahead.
And keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame.
Now, he said, I come as a thief. But he won't come as a thief to you. You're going to know all the signs. You're going to know what to do and when to do it. But the rest of the world, they're jumping up and down, shouting and falling over pews. And they don't have a clue of what's going on. Going to come upon them as a thief. Just like it was when Noah built the ark. The rest of the world went on, married, giving in marriage, having fun, probably poking fun at Noah. Oh man, you got to be stupid. Ain't nothing going to drown this whole earth. He just kept working. And when the water started, God sealed up the doors and the windows. Because God didn't leave that to Noah, because Noah is flesh. And you know how flesh is. We'll go sorry and feel bad even for the wicked. Now you're going to open the door and let the wicked in. You're going to go on the other side of the flood, and the Lord work with something, exercise in futility. The wicked that he wanted to drown, you took with you. So he sealed it up. Same thing, sisters and brothers. He's going to come upon this world as a thief because they don't have no knowledge. Go ahead and read.
16. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon.
That's why this is called Armageddon. Because the place that he's going to take them is called Armageddon. Armageddon means the place of truth. Or either the valley of Megiddo, where the Lord has always had major battles. It's going to be northwest Jerusalem. Because that's where you're going to bring them all down, sisters and brothers. And let's go and look at some of them. Let's go into Joel, the 3rd chapter. Because the Lord had everybody writing about this, because he wants you to know. You better get yourself in order, because I'm going to come upon this world as a thief in the night, and I'm going to kill everything that need to be killed. And this is the thing that nobody is paying attention to. This God of Israel is a dangerous God. I tell people all the time, you think Jesus is so fluffy? You ain't never dealt with the Father. Jesus is the only God you ever dealt with. I can read that to you. If he's so fluffy and easy going, why did he drown the whole world except for 8 souls? That tells me this guy is somebody not to be messed with. You understand? When I realized, wait a minute, this is Jesus? I had to rethink this thing about Jesus. Because what I've been told when I was raised up in church, that he loved everybody. That's some weird love. You're going to drown the whole world and save only 8 people. That kind of love you can keep. Joel, 3rd chapter, and verse 1, 3 and 1. Go ahead and read.
For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Go ahead.
And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel.
Go ahead.
Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
He said, now in the days when I turn the captivity, in other words, in the time period that I'm going to return Israel, because Israel ain't going to go back to the land until Jesus comes. He said, I'm going to gather all nations down in Jerusalem. And I'm going to bring them down, and I'm going to plead with them for my heritage Israel's sake. But read just a little more of this. Go ahead and read.
And they have cast lots for my people.
So they done bid it for my people.
And have given a boy for an harlot.
And have given a boy for a harlot.
And sold a girl for wine.
That
they might drink.
All this happened to us, sisters and brothers, in slavery. Go ahead and read.
Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre,
go ahead,
and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense?
Will you repay me? Go ahead.
And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head.
Why is he going to turn it on them? Go ahead and read.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold.
You have taken my silver and my gold.
And have carried into your temples my goodly, pleasant things.
Go ahead.
The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their borders.
So you took my children and you sold them to the Greeks. And you removed them far from their borders. Sister and brother, we're a long ways from Israel. You understand what I'm saying? So the Lord said, look, I'm coming to deal with you. Skip down to verse 9. Skip down to verse 9. And go ahead.
Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles.
I want you to proclaim this among the Gentiles. Why did he say the Gentiles, sisters and brothers? Because this is the time of the Gentiles. Who are the Gentiles? 10th chapter of Genesis will tell you they are the children of Japhet. And who are the children of Japhet? The people that we call European or white, sisters and brothers. Because this is the time of the Gentile. You've been told if you ain't no Jew, you're a Gentile. Biggest lie ever been told. Only one tribe in Israel was a Jew, and that's the tribe of Judah. So now, proclaim these among the Gentiles. Go ahead and read.
Prepare war.
Prepare war. Go ahead.
Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
Now I want you to prepare war, and everybody's getting ready for it. Everybody's making weapons, sisters and brothers. All nations are arming themselves to the teeth. And you got this smart president saying, I don't want to deal with this thing we got with the nuclear weapon. Hey, I want to be back in a nuclear weapon race. I like to fell off the chair. But then when I thought about prophecy, he did what he's supposed to do. Prepare war. What verse are we?
Verse 10.
Go ahead and read.
Beat your plowshares into swords.
Now get your social programs, beat them into swords. You know, cut off welfare, social welfare. Take away some of the food stamps. Because we need more money to buy tanks and planes and nuclear weapons. Go ahead and read.
And your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
Go ahead.
Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about.
Go ahead.
Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord.
He said, now I want you, all you nations, to gather yourselves and come on down. And I want you to call your mighty ones to come down, Lord. Go ahead and read.
Let the heathen be wakened.
Let the nations be wakened.
And come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Why is the valley of Jehoshaphat? That means the valley where Jehovah will judge. Who is Jehovah now? He is the one that's called Jesus now. Right. Remember when he came, he said, I come in my Father's name. He didn't come in his own name.